let's move on to the second kind of meeting, which is pitching an idea. Now, as it turns out, some of the dynamics that we talked about in giving an initiative update and describing what something's worth and how it's going actually relate to also proposing a new idea, whether it be to an internal executive, to a customer, or to a partner. Ultimately, they want to understand, should I really invest my time in this idea, and do I think you have the credibility to get it done if we back it? Now, most people, when they're presenting an idea, they actually start at the wrong place. They start with the solution. They start
with the end in mind.
But all of the energy starts with agreeing on the problem, are the ones that earn the right to solve them. So we're going to learn how to build a balance between problem and solution. The other thing, and as we talked about earlier, is that energy gets built when you understand a problem in its largest sense. What's the overall impact that could happen? But credibility gets built by making sure that the person understands enough about the details that you think they can get it done. It's not the case that executives just want high-level talk. They need to understand the balance of both what it's worth and whether you can get it done. And I think you've probably often seen people that present where they really nail one, they build a ton of energy, and then you leave the meeting and I'm not sure they actually know how to do that. Or the opposite, wow, they really know what they need to do, but I'm not sure it's worth doing. We're going to learn how to balance all of those things with a very simple framework. Before you go in to pitch an idea, I want you to make a very simple grid for yourself. Across the top, you have problem and you have solution. And then on the side, you have 50,000 feet and 1,000 foot. And what we need to do is to make sure we understand how to describe the problem and the solution at those two levels of detail to build the right energy and credibility. Let's go back to our prior example. If I wanted to build energy around a problem space, I might say, we believe there is $1 billion opportunity with small businesses that is limited by the fact that they rate our self-serve tools as poor relative to all competitors. It's a big problem. And you can feel the energy around the opportunity and what we are missing out on because we have these challenges. But I need to go to the next level. I need to get to 1,000 feet. I need to explain in this example that we've done our research, and as it turns out, some basic administrative capabilities aren't available in our product. And they are the capabilities our customers expect and rely on from all of our competitors. That our product's self-serve is only available in English, and some of our small businesses actually have employees that are spread all over the world and need to be able to access them in other languages. In fact, I talked to a customer just last week, and because of their frustration with some of our services, they decided to churn their account. And I know that this is happening across thousands of our customers in small business. At this point, we've created some energy around the problem in terms of the opportunity at stake. We've shown that we've done our homework, and we've provided an example that really brings some credibility to the discussion. And now it's time to build energy with the executive that you have a solution. But we're going to start at 50,000 feet to again build that energy.
Think about when you're talking to David Jewell.
We believe that we have an opportunity to create a chat experience using AI in languages around the world that can reduce 50% of customer.
As I said it, he said chat AI.
Which will translate into revenue growth with small businesses and reduce churn. Now we'll get to 1,000 feet. In this example, we've done some research and we found a partner that can help us deploy this solution around AI-enabled chat within 6 months to a pilot group of customers. And if successful, can be rolled out in 5 languages around the world over the course of the next 12 months. We believe this has an opportunity to reduce customer dissatisfaction and ultimately lead to greater retention and opportunities to upsell if we can create amazing experiences for our customers. I'll give another example from my experience. As part of LinkedIn, I spend a lot of time speaking with heads of recruiting and talent at organizations all over the world. And so let me start with the problem. As we move into a hybrid world, the most important skill in your employees is the knowledge of how to get things done at your organization. The relationship capital that you've built, and as people leave, it becomes harder and harder for teams to get work done. Now at 1,000 feet.
It's happening at Liberty.
We've done a bunch of research, and as it turns out, people often leave at the 3 or 4 year mark in their tenure in a role. And when you ask them why they leave, it's not because they want to, it's because they don't know how to find the next opportunity at the company or the organization that they love. Now let's talk about the solution. At the highest level, there are organizations that are rethinking how their recruiting teams are operating by focusing not just on external talent, but also on internal talent. Now at 1,000 feet, there are many companies that I speak with
1,000 feet.
whereby as a result of focusing on external and internal talent, they produce more healthy pipelines, they give people stronger motivation and loyalty to the organization,
Very.
and ultimately they can reduce attrition of their most successful and tenured employees by 50%. It's actually the single biggest thing that an organization can do to reduce attrition amongst top performers. It's a huge impact, and it means that the people at your organization with some of the greatest relationship capital can continue to help everyone be successful, particularly in a hybrid world. Now you've had a chance to share the problem and the solution at 50,000 feet and at 1,000 feet, and you have an opportunity to make a simple ask. I love your feedback on our initiative and understand whether we have support to proceed with the pilot over the next 6 months. What I think you'll realize is that we covered a lot of ground in under 2 minutes. If you're the executive, you understand the problem, you build some energy around why it's important, you understand this person's done enough homework to understand what's causing the problem, because if we don't understand what's causing it, it's hard to know whether we'll really be able to fix it, and then what do we get? We have a plan to execute against it. If you're able to lay that out at the very beginning, then you can go deeper into whatever the executive is curious about. And you've had a chance to lay out your whole idea in a single way, and the executive, again, can know how to be successful, how to provide feedback, and ultimately how to get excited and support what you know is a great idea. Before we wrap, I want to share some of the things that I do to prepare for a meeting. And one of the things that I've learned is that preparation makes a huge difference. Now, my experience with myself is that as I prepare, I go from complex to sounding more simple. I go from sounding unprepared to sounding relaxed. And it's not about standing in front of a mirror and looking yourself in the eye and trying to come across a certain way. It's getting comfortable with what you're trying to say. So whether you're giving an update on an initiative, what's the simplest way you can describe what it's worth and how's it going? If you're talking about an idea, what are the 1 or 2 sentences to describe the problem and the solution at 50,000 feet and at 1,000 feet? And if those sentences can feel natural to you, then it's going to come across as you've done your homework and you've really thought through what you're saying. I also find that I go through a journey when I'm preparing for a meeting of this very simple process of sounding unprepared to sounding scripted to sounding relaxed and present. I find that when I'm unprepared, I'm spending so much time in my own head thinking about what I'm supposed to be saying that I'm not observing others. I'm not listening well. I'm not taking cues off of where the energy in the conversation is. And so for me, the ultimate goal is to feel prepared to the point where I'm not worried and thinking about what I'm going to say.
Sorry, Catherine doesn't do that, guys.
And when you know what you think, it comes across clearly to the person that's listening. The second thing
Catherine, don't do
I
that.
think about is how do I feel
Emma.
about what I'm talking about? And how do I want to communicate that to my audience? I could be energized. I could feel cautious. I could be concerned. I could be optimistic. Understanding how you're feeling about
I can be blue, I can be red, I can be
it gives you the chance to be intentional about how to communicate that to the people that you're speaking with.
Little jokey joke, man.
To me, the last question I ask myself before I start talking is what do I feel on the inside and how do I want to make sure that I'm sharing that with the people I'm speaking with? The third piece of preparation is that every meeting needs a plan B. The executive shows up late. They show up with 5 minutes. You prepared for 30. What are you going to do? Really seasoned communicators pre-think about what you're going to do if the time frame of the conversation changes to make the most use of the time you have, because you may not get it scheduled in the future. I've seen 5-minute meetings be incredibly productive when they were originally scheduled for 30, but the person that made that happen had done the thinking about how to prepare for that in advance. I actually have a story from my history as a consultant where it wasn't just that the time frame of the meeting changed, but the executive had no interest in talking about what I wanted to talk about. What the meeting was all about. I walked into the meeting, it was a new customer, and I wanted to make a great impression. I'd never worked with them in the past. And in my head, we were going to have a meeting about a proposal for the project and to get their feedback on it. presentation ready, and they said to me, before you get into it, I just have a question for you. Why is it that all of your colleagues are set out to make my life miserable? Now, at that point, what do? I clearly can't talk about what I'd prepared or what I thought the meeting was about. I had to put that aside and use the moment to understand how to create a relationship. What has happened? I'm really sorry. What can I do to put us in a better place? How can I help solve some of the challenges that you're clearly facing? And then once I've done that, maybe we can come back to have the conversation that we originally intended. So having a great plan B for your meeting is helpful, both in time frame and also if the executive decides to take the conversation in a different direction, and to be open to that. Because ultimately, the meeting is successful if the executive is successful. And if they have something that's important to them, then it's most critical to address that first before you get to whatever you think your needs were coming into the discussion. Finally, every meeting has an opportunity to deliver a message to remember. I learned this from sharing videos on LinkedIn. One of the things that people really key off of is a phrase that you think summarizes the issue at hand or the opportunity ahead. If I were to summarize one lesson from this entire course, it's that if you come into a meeting to make the executive successful, then you're going to be successful. You can put yourself in their shoes, and they will see you as a valuable partner on the journey. So whenever you have a meeting, write down the handful of words that encapsulates the central...
She doesn't write down, guys. She won't write down. She won't. I tried. I asked
draw
her.
people's attention to it.
She doesn't write down.
Say it twice. Even lead in with, if there's one thing to remember, remember this. And what you'll find is that people will walk away with what you intended them to walk away with. And that will not just mean they remember what you wanted them to, but they'll remember you as well. There we are. Now, I know that speaking with a senior audience, whether it's customers or your leaders, it can come with a lot of stress and anxiety. And there's a lot of advice out there about how to sit up straight, speak with purpose. But at the end of the day, I found that there are two simple things that make all the difference in the world. The first is the mindset that you bring into the conversation. Are you there to accomplish your goal, or are you there to make the executive successful? And then second, do you have the information that's going to help the executive to understand the content that you're delivering? Can you answer in simple terms what it's worth and how it's going? Can you describe your idea in terms of the problem and the solution at 50,000 feet and at 1,000 feet? If you can make that simple and clear, then the executive is going to walk away thinking that you know what you're talking about, that you have credibility. And that's going to last with them coming out of the meeting more than anything else. Best of luck.
See you on WhatsApp, boo boo. Get your thing. You must link it. The most important thing besides getting the actual, I mean, it's important to get to, but you must also link it to your LinkedIn profile. There's like a lot of value in what they're doing and with LinkedIn Learning in terms of keeping like handpicking the instructors. You know what I mean? Because you know how many courses we've seen with fucking just people who just fucking think they can do a course.
Yeah, especially on Udemy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So on WhatsApp, I sent you some things. You don't have to post both, but it's fine. But as long as you go,
links.
go to add to your profile. That's the most important thing. The white button. Yeah, that's the most important thing. If you haven't done that with other courses, you must go and do it. Okay.
But it's what you can achieve when you're a
People eater.
Communicator.
People eater.
My name is Colleen Howard.
Purple people
I'm
eater.
a trainer, speaker, and author using my 15 years of corporate leadership experience to show organizations and leaders like you
They've got
how to
good
retain
instructors,
top
eh?
talent
You saw
and
Boo Boo?
deliver results.
So.
In this course, I want to help you.
They all look
improve
like
your
professional
leadership
actors to me, I must be honest.
So that you
Yeah.
engagement and create
I don't know.
Yeah, but good.
I'm very suspicious of how confident and awesome these people are.
Because, baby, like I said to you, they do your makeup, they do your professional studio. So if you be successful in being selected as a LinkedIn instructor, they fly you out from wherever the fuck you're in the world.
Amazing.
You spend a week or 2 weeks or whatever, how long it takes to film. You have like the best content creators, the best like editors, like pros who like help you,
Are you ready?
and they help you put the course. That like, you know, but you can't like just fucking go and say whatever you want. They help you a lot with the course. They have a lot of control over what happens in the course.